All right, it is time for the first ride impression video of my new Outlander Pro. This is a 2024 Outlander Pro HD7. It is the XU model, which is the top of the line. Outlander Pro gets you all these extra features here I talked about in the previous video where I showed this to you guys. We're just gonna jump right in, hit the old ignition switch, and go for a ride. Say first off, sitting on this beast, it's comfy, the seat's comfy, the handlebar position is perfect for me. I am 5'10", about 167, 68-ish pounds, and the comfort is spot on for me. The foot pegs are in the proper position for me. Foot brake is pretty easy to get to. It doesn't stick in too far or out too far. It's right there handy. This does have a different drive mode. We're just going to start off in normal mode, and we'll hit the trails and I'll tell you what I think of this beast. Full disclosure for you guys as we start, I am calling this my first ride impression, but I do have 76 miles on this guy. I've been going through the break-in because I want to get the performance numbers once I can. So I have had a good bit of time on this, so hopefully I'll be able to give you a little more in-depth thoughts than just my first impressions. Although my first impressions are still pretty much the same impressions I have today. Right off the bat, this looks like a big machine to look at, but as soon as you climb on it and start ripping through the woods here, it's not as big as you feel. I am very impressed with the handling of the HD7, these Outlander Pros, and I'm very impressed with the suspension as well. A little heavier than the regular Outlander 500s and 700s, and I did turn the preload on these shocks as full soft as they were go, and that being said, it rides very nice in the woods. Maybe not as nice as a Gen 2 Outlander 800 or 1000 with the trailing armor suspension, being this has double A-arm front and rear, but it does a good job. If you're worried about getting a big utility like this Outlander Pro because you do a lot of trail riding, don't worry. I exclusively trail ride. This guy is probably not going to see a lot of work, and it rides plenty nice for trail riding. We'll open her up a little bit. We are again just in normal mode. Woo. And we just about hit 50 there. Again, it's not going to be the fastest four-wheeler out there because it is just a 650cc single, but it's no slouch either. And when we get her into sport mode, it wakes it up a good bit. Again, this has Can-Am's tri-mode power steering, minimum, medium, and maximum. And I pretty much run it exclusively on minimum or medium. I don't think since I bought it, I've had the need to go up into maximum assistance in the power steering. And it handles great, especially from jumping on the Sportsman with no power steering onto this guy. It handles and steers like a dream, and there is absolutely zero bump steer, which is what power steering on a four-wheeler is phenomenal at doing. Because bump steer is what will send you off your intended course, sliding into a diversion ditch. Spot here. Again, we are in normal mode. I'm going to use the Dan test on the Renegade because I like that. We'll give it a flick of the throttle, and you see, flicking the throttle in normal mode with the fly-by-wire really doesn't do anything. You got to hold it there a little bit for it to kick in. In work mode, exact same. Now, work mode I found in this Outlander is actually a little more responsive and quick to put on the power than normal mode, which makes sense. This Outlander Pro is made for working, and that's what she's gonna do. So they give you a little more power and responsiveness under work mode than even normal mode. However, on work mode, it is only limited to 45 miles an hour. That's all the faster work mode lets it go. The bumps in the trail very nice, corners amazingly. It is got a pretty hefty rear sway bar on the rear, rear sway bar on the rear, go figure. But it that helps keep it nice and planted when you're cornering, shall we say, very spiritedly. Now the one downfall to that, as we get to my flex section here and you're flexing the machine out, is it does cause it then to lift the wheels pretty good as you get on off-camber situations. Outlander Pro seems to be that all the suspension travel is up and you don't have much down from the sitting rest position. So when you hit a dip like that, it does not have much down travel. Most of the suspension travel is up. But even at that, when it lifts and stuff, it still feels nice and stable. It never feels like, at least I haven't had it under the situation yet, where I felt like it was going to tip over. Now what's great with having the different drive modes is when you get in the deep woods or rocky terrain and you're down into low, it helps take the jerkiness out of it. You can see here how I'm working the throttle, and instead of the machine jerking and jerking and jerking, it's holding nice and smooth. Look at that. And that's great when you're trying to be very easy and modulate the throttle, whether you're deep woods trail riding like we're getting into here, in rocky terrain where you're bouncing all over the place, or as an intended purpose, you are putting this thing to work and need to be holding nice consistent speed. The fly-by-wire and the different drive modes makes it very, very nice to drive and not buck around like a raging fucking Bronco. Again, I love the storage on this. One of the reasons why I went for the Outlander Pro over a lot of the competitors in the same kind of class. You got the huge storage up front, and you got this nice glove box in the back, and most usually have just a little storage box here or like behind the seat, and that's it. That's one of the main reasons that I picked this Outlander Pro over the C4 600, which I was looking at as well. Back into normal mode, and we'll pick up the pace here a little bit until we get in the open again, and then we'll put her in sport. This thing has no problem with breaking loose the rear tires and sliding around if you want to. There we go. we're in sport mode here. You already notice right off the bat how much quicker this thing likes to lunge. Let me give you the tap test here in sport. You see how much quicker? How much quicker? You can still tap it and it doesn't take off like Dan's Renegade. He did that in sport mode and it about threw him off.
If I put it in work mode or sport mode,
woo!
should have held on.
But very little throttle gets this thing to kick off and go. And it takes off. Oh, we're roasting the tires! Woo! I'm still in low gear too. I didn't realize that. I was like, why is this not going fast? We're in low gear. Oh, there she is. There she wakes up. Now let me watch me flick it in sport. You see how she goes? Yeah. Woo, and that's the big difference there. Woo! And she takes off in sport. Oh yeah. Oh, there's my turn. Missed my turn. I was having too much fun. I missed my turn. But there you can see in sport and high, this thing goes. In fact, it goes well enough that I would almost think it had a bigger engine in it than what it does. Now off camera, we did pit this up against my 850 Sportsman. Dan was piloting the Sportsman. And as you would expect, the Sportsman did slowly walk away. But I mean, you're talking an 850 twin versus a 650 single, and this Outlander Pro kept up surprisingly well. The fit and finish so far on it is very impressive. I had a slight clunk in the rear end the first couple times I had it out riding. It has since stopped, and I have heard others mentioning about this clunk in the rear, and I've come to believe that it's just the sway bar links, and that's all it is. And once he gets a little bit of ride time and get the machine broke in, then it stops. Dan's Renegade kind of doing the same thing, and it's already not noticeable now. So it kind of did the same thing. You hear clunking in the rear end, and then as you ride and get a few more miles on it, it stops. And from what I've gathered from others, it is just the sway bar. Now that clunking on this thing has stopped, there's no clunks, there's no rattles, there's no squeaks. Woo! Besides the occasional flapping of my winch hook in the front when I hit a big bump. As far as power to climb hills, we're going to leave her in high, we're going to leave her in two-wheel drive, we'll leave her in sport mode and climb this good hill climb here. You power for days. Again, while we're here, this has got the tri-mode engine braking. I've been riding around mostly with it in medium to high. Minimum seems like not enough engine braking for me. I am used to Yamaha that has, you know, very good engine braking. Even the Sportsman has superior, wow, maybe not superior, but superb, there's a better word, engine braking. So not having hardly engine braking makes me nervous, and I don't like having to use the brakes as much. But I'll cut to the footage right now of me testing the different modes of the engine braking down that pretty steep hill. And there is a significant difference between minimum and maximum.
Minimum hill descent, 4-wheel drive, low range. medium, low range 4-wheel drive. Yeah, it didn't sound like it was revving up real high.
It sounded like I think it came down about as fast as it did on the medium setting, but I think that was just because I was sliding. Because as soon as I hit the bottom, it was a lot slower coming out.
Yeah.
We'll see if it makes a difference in high gear or not.
I feel like it's gonna make a huge difference when you get into a lower setting.
Yeah.
But ouch. See if I can. Slick. It's not tacky, it's slick. So he probably slid a little bit in that last little go around.
Minimum engine braking and high, 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, it made a difference, didn't it? Yeah. That was a lot like Min on low range.
Yeah.
So it overlaps a little bit.
Not as much of a difference in high as it does in low. So there, you just saw how well the engine braking works in that. We're gonna make a quick loop around and we're gonna hit that from the other direction across there. Because what I really want to show you guys is how well Yamaha, boy, that'll get me slapped and smacked, especially from the guys at work. How well this Can-Am P-clutch is. Again, this has a newer, it's not brand new, it's been out for a couple years. They've used it in a lot of their side-by-sides. This has a P-clutch in it, which is a lot better clutch than the previous generation clutches, where you had to worry about, you know, belts slipping and burning belts up and stuff all the time. 4-wheel drive through the little mud hole here. It's really getting washed out. Probably could have done it in 2-wheel drive. But I know with my Outlander 1000, trail riding in slower speeds like this in the tight woods, especially in 4-wheel drive, which I'm still in 4-wheel drive, I would want to go into low, or I have found myself in quite a few situations where I was wanting to slip my belt. This P-clutch, nope. It engages very smoothly and seems to have better belt engagement, so you have less belt slippage. However, after saying that, I am going to go into low for this one hole up here. I keep missing our trail. I do that every single video that I filmed my first ride impressions on, and I've used this new section of trail because we don't have it broke in enough yet. And I'm mostly going into low because this is a steep climb out of this water hole, and it's getting pretty soupy, so I'll have a good bit of wheel spin. Just regular 4-wheel drive, not using the front diff lock. And the 4-wheel drive, very, very nice in this. Again, I got the XU because I'm not a fan of the Visco lock. This has the front locker, so you got 4-wheel drive, and you got full diff lock there, which I won't buy a 4-wheeler unless it has diff lock. But anyway, to show you how well this P-clutch works, we're going to do this little windy section here, actually in high gear. Normal mode, drive mode. And it handles this rough terrain, hilly, windy terrain like nothing, even in high gear. So these Outlander Pros, the nice thing is you don't have to be constantly switching from high gear to low gear in them. As is the new clutch, new P clutch in these things. Do a fantastic job. Again, if you're worried about buying one of these because you think it's not going to be trail rideable, worry not, my friends, worry not. This is a great, great trail machine. Of course, as soon as I get the time, we're going to be taking her out to Rock Run and putting it through its paces on the trails there. We got to get the Sportsman there too. Old Smokey. We'll have to name this guy too, so if you guys have a name for the Outlander Pro, whatever your suggestions are, let me know in the comments below. And the name with the most likes will probably most likely end up being the winner. Satisfied with my decision to buy this over the C-Force 600. There, it handles, where did that come from? Like nothing. Suspension again, very good. Yeah, I'm happy with my decision to buy this. Now, I have yet to get the C-Force 600. I am getting the demo one, and that will be coming very soon. So I'll have to reevaluate my decision after I get some time in that. But a couple things I've already don't like about the C-Force is the lack of storage for one. And I'm not too crazy about the seating position in the C-Force, which once I get the machine here and do my quick little walk around with you guys, I'll explain that there. Country walk like nothing! Woo! And up the hill! Very nice. Very, very nice. Alright, riders, so yeah. There is my first riding impression of my Outlander Pro 700. Very comfortable machine. Suspension does a great job for being tailored more towards the utility aspect of the quad. Handling is very, very great. Little body roll. Again, this has a pretty massive sway bar on the rear. We are going to play with taking that off, or at least unhooking it, and see if we get some more suspension travel. And I am very happy with my decision to go with the Outlander Pro over the CF Moto. Now, the CF Moto is probably not a bad machine. They're growing in popularity. I think this Outlander Pro, at least for me, is the best suited machine for what I'm looking for. I'll probably use it for a little bit of work, mostly trail riding. Maintenance on these things right now, super easy and stupid, especially compared to the old ones. Seat off, panel comes off, there's your clutch. Other side, seat off. You take this panel off, there's access to your oil, your transmission. Your filter is still kind of stuck in behind here, but a couple push pins. I think there are only 1, 2, 3, just a few, and that gives you a little access in here to get to your oil filter. Super easy. Big improvement over the Gen 2 Outlanders by far. Those are an absolute pain to have to take. Oh, I gotta take the cluster off, take the cover over the airbox off, take the side panel off, take the inside liner off. Hey, now I can finally get the stuff to change the oil. So big improvement there on that. But yep, there are my first riding impressions. Power is good for a 650 cc single. It's going to be able to keep up with any other machine out there on the trail, no worries, especially in sport mode. And even in normal mode, it still has pretty good get up and go. So again, give me some suggestions for what we're going to name this beast in the comment below. As always, if you bought an Outlander Pro or are thinking about an Outlander Pro, let me know what you like about it, what you don't like about it, or what is leaning you towards buying one or not buying one. Again, I want to give a big shout out to Mountain Extreme in Rockton, PA for hooking me up with this machine. Great dealer to work with, to get financing through. And I hope you guys are excited to see how we put this guy through its paces throughout this coming year. And especially to see which ends up being the better quad. This guy or Dan's Renegade. 2 new Can-Ams on the channel for you this year. How about that? So I'm going to finish getting in my 100-mile break-it on this guy. And thanks for watching. And until next time, I keep on riding in sport mode.